My pleasure this evening to welcome Judge Brian Suvich, longtime friend, short-time judge, to tonight's ceremony for the swearing in for two of our council members. If our gentlemen would like to go down with the judge.
Yeah, okay, so you guys what to do? All right, please raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, state your name,
I, Chuck Bernardi,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Wait for this, I'll be right down. Right, sure.
Thank you, Judge.
Anytime.
All right, at this time, public comment, agenda items only, you've got 5 minutes. Full name, address, and you have 5 minutes to speak, sir.
For the stenographer, John D. Bartola, BEBARTOLA, 1197 Bedford Street, Johnstown, PA. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.
I want to talk about 3 items on the agenda. 1, the interim city solicitor appointment. I think it's time you find a full-time solicitor. Maybe you should make Mr. Repack an offer to make him stay. Having this open position creates problems within the city, you all know that. Elizabeth Benjamin resigned in September. It's now been 3 months, we're in January. You must find permanency for this position. I understand that Beard and Andrews, and that Beard Legal Group is here since, I believe, 2014-ish, give or take. You must find someone permanent. So whatever you have to do, please do that, because going month to month with an interim city solicitor is not a good thing for the city. As for the city manager employment agreement, I'll try to be kind, but I think you should all vote no. What has Mr. Imhoff done within 2 years? I could give you 50 things that have failed in the city. I think it's time for new leadership. I think a municipal excellence award from the governor doesn't validate the failures of the city. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. And though I don't believe you're going to vote no on this, I hope you shock me, and at least 3 of you do vote no, before it's a crisis where we have to have a city manager search and a new city manager. So that's my comment, as kind as I can be. The last thing I want to talk about on the agenda is the board authority and commission seats. I give this speech every so often on political dinosaurs. You all heard it. I'm sure you're all looking forward to hearing it again. Ms. Uckel, you are up for the planning commission. No disrespect, I don't think you should be on the board. They should vote no for you. But that screw up with Mom's house, we're still playing out in court. We need new blood, new members who aren't so abrasive. Mr. Gisello has been on the JRA now for what, 1 term, 2 term, going on 3 terms? When are we going to get new blood? We have no changes. The water authority, I'm going to give Mr. Arnone a compliment. I go to your meetings, Chuck. You ask questions, you ask a lot of questions. And you actually do a good job representing the city. Don't pull off your chair, I'm praising you. And even though I razz you at the housing authority and I razz you when I go to the water authority, I do want you to know I appreciate the fact that you do ask those questions. And you're a heckler like me and you ask for transparency. Because even though I give you a lot of help, you always respond to me. And that impresses me. You always have a report every month. So even though I think we shouldn't have dinosaurs, I don't think we should have the same people. I like you on the board. Take it for what it's worth. Happy New Year. Mr. Wilson's appointment, I remember talking out against him the last time you did this 4 years ago. He was charged. I don't know whatever happened to the charges. Why are we putting people on boards who have criminal records for a charge issue, whether they're impersonating a cop or whatever it was? As for Ms. Komar and Mr. Schnur, I have no issue with them. But again, they've been on for what, 2 terms now? When is it you're going to get new blood? And then I know what you're all going to say to me. You're going to say, Johnny, no one's applying for the positions. Think about why no one's applying. You put the same people on, you put on yourselves. No one has enough faith in the city council to apply for these positions. Think about it. Until you start putting on watchdogs, gonna ask questions and demand transparency from government. We're gonna make a change. Nothing will change. So those are my comments. Thank you for listening and Happy New Year to you all.
Thank you. At this time, we have nominations for the election of a deputy mayor. I'd like to nominate Mike Capriotti. Do we have any other nominations? Sylvia King. Do I have a second?
It's gonna be a second.
We need a second. All right, roll call then.
Mayor?
I'm sorry.
There's two people nominated. Mr. Britt nominated, Ms. King, you nominated me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't do that. Sorry.
So, I'll sign.
All right. So we'll have to do it. Each council member will have to name the person that they're voting for.
Correct. So you have a motion to elect the deputy mayor, a second, and then each council member will vote for three days.
All right. Sarah, if you'd like.
Mrs. Mock? Mike Capital.
I don't think we got a motion in a second, but
A motion then.
Second.
sorry.
Ms. Eagle? Mike Capital. Mr. Hernandez?
Sylvia.
Mr. Britt?
Abstain.
Mr. Capriati?
So,
Mayor?
Capriotti.
And Reverend King.
Can you repeat the vote? 4-3. All right. Moving on, resolutions. City manager employment agreement. A resolution of the City Council, City of Johnstown, Cambria County, Pennsylvania, approving an employment agreement between the City of Johnstown and Ethan Imhoff for a term commencing January 3rd, 2024, and continuing through the first Monday in January 2026 at a yearly salary of $137,500 as per, and contingent upon the terms of the agreement between the parties. Do I have a motion? Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? If not, roll call, please.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Capriati?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock? Yes. Ms. Eagle? Yes.
Workman's compensation insurance, resolution of City Council, City of Johnstown, Cambria County, Pennsylvania, selecting a proposal for renewal of city workers' compensation insurance plan effective January 1, 2024, and authorizing the city manager to execute any and all agreements and notices necessary to effectuate the same. Motion. Second.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Capriati?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock? Yes. Ms. Eagle?
I abstain as an employee of ours.
And Mr. Hernandez?
Yes. And the vote count, please. 6. Sarah? All right, general liability insurance, resolution of City Council, City of Johnstown, Cambria County, Pennsylvania, selecting a proposal for renewal of the city general liability and property insurance plans effective January 1, 2024, and authorizing the city manager to execute any and all agreements and notices necessary to effectuate the same. Do I have a motion? Motion. Do I have a second? Any questions or comments? Roll call?
Mr. Capriati?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Ms. Eagle?
I abstain as I'm employed in the insurance industry.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
New business, interim city solicitor, city council appointed Dylan, help me out with this pronunciation. Canlis, King, Coulter, and Brown served as interim city solicitor at the October 2023 meeting. With the new year, the firm is proposing to update its fee schedule and has asked for city council's approval to continue its work on a needed basis as special counsel and labor counsel. Do I have a motion? Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions or comments?
How far are we with getting the permits and stuff?
Well, yeah, and I had sent a memo to city council last week after I completed interviews with a couple of the candidates. And I will have on the January 10th agenda a solicitor recommendation for council.
I just want to speak to the motion itself, why it reads that way is from this point until you hire on January 10th. And there's some outstanding matters that I'm still handling on the labor and special counsel side that I just figured it'd be easier for me to fulfill that role than have somebody take it over. Because that will cost more. So that's why it reads that way.
Any other questions or comments? If not, roll call, please.
Mayor,
Yes.
Reverend King,
Yes.
Mrs. Moss,
Yes.
Ms. Sheeple,
Yes.
Mr. Rooney,
Yes.
Mr. Britt,
Yes.
Mr. Capriati.
Yes.
Old business, board and authority and commission seats. There are several positions up for reappointment that need to take place on various city boards, authorities, and commissions. Staff,
If I could, Mr. Mayor,
yes.
as the ad hoc appointment to the Water Authority, I have a brief summary of some successes we were able to do over the past year.
Let's wait until we get into those particulars. Individuals contained in the agenda. Council is asked to make appointments as follows. Johnstown Planning Commission, we'll start there first.
I nominate Ms. Hughes.
Second,
Second.
Any other nominations? If not, you want to do a vote?
Yeah, you don't need a second for a nomination, so they nominate. Second.
Okay. Do we need to vote that one?
Yes.
All right, if you would, roll call. This is for Laura. You will-
Reverend King,
yes.
Mrs. Moss.
Yes.
Ms. Sheeple.
Yes.
Mr. Rooney.
Yes.
Mr. Britt.
Yes.
Mr. Capriati. Mayor.
Yes. Johnstown Redevelopment Authority, nominations for that, please.
I'll nominate Mr. yourself.
Second.
Okay, any other nominations? We only have one individual. Rick Trissello, roll call.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Capriati.
Yes.
Mr. Britt.
Yes.
Mr. Rooney.
Yes.
Ms. Sheeple.
Yes.
Mrs. Moss.
Yes.
Reverend King.
Number 3, if you'd like to speak, Mr. Arnone.
I'm good, Mr. Riddell. It's, the Water Authority?
Yes.
Yes, this is, I had a brief summary set up, and I sent it to South, as the ad hoc person. I represent both Southmont and Westmont. This is a brief summary of some of the successes the Water Authority did over the past 4 years. We've experienced little interruptions in the level of service during the pandemic. In September, we purchased a new sewer collection system owned by the city of Johnstown, allowing city's financial recovery for substantial pension debt, and allowing the JWA to improve the service. In 2021, JWA purchased a combination vacuum jet truck to maintain its own sewer system and to offer affordable intermunicipal agreement for service in surrounding municipalities and authorities. The JWA purchased the city of Johnstown's clean field dump and a bulldozer to maintain the result. As a result, the purchase of new sewer collection bill, the city of Johnstown customers were reduced by $2, and that stayed that way. And as of May 20, in 2022, the Greater Johnstown Water Authority purchased the sewer collection system in Westmont and has invested $2 million into that system, correcting it, and has a little bit more to do, and their system will be fine. In 2023, over $4 million has invested in interconnecting 2 separate parts of the water distribution system to provide additional redundancy of water service for 2 separate treatment plants that had never been interconnected. Completing all major construction projects, replacing the sewer system in the city of Johnstown, replacing the water tank in the Westmont system, which will increase the pressure, which had a problem with it because we had problems with fires there and they couldn't do it. This will allow it to happen. Also, in the new year, we will be putting in a pump station in the Kernville section to allow the water authority to get the water transferred and have a backup system in case there's interruptions in any way. As of miscellaneous things, we replaced 600 lead service lines in 3 years. There's been no water quality violations in over 4 years, no rate increases for 4 years, and none for the year 2024. And they don't plan on any right away. That's the brief information that's happened over the last 4 years with the water authority.
All right, nominations for the Water Authority.
I nominate Ricky.
I nominate Mr. Arnone. Do we have any other nominations? If not, if you would, roll call and name the person you're voting for.
Reverend King,
Mr. Arnone.
Mrs. Moss,
Mr. Britt.
Ms. Sheeple,
Mr. Arnone.
Mr. Rooney,
Myself.
Mr. Britt, Mr. Capriati,
Mr. Wood.
and Mayor.
Mr. Arnone. the Uniform Construction Code Board of Appeals. Do I have nomination for that term?
I nominate Jeffrey Wilson.
Do you have any other nominations? If not, roll call for Jeffrey Wilson.
Mayor,
Yes.
Reverend King,
Yes.
Mrs. Moss,
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Capriotti?
Yes.
Loan Review Committee. Do I have nominations? There's 2 vacancies. Do I have nominations?
I'll nominate Mrs. Komar and, Mr. Ken says,
Any other nominations? There's no others. We have no problem us voting for both. On one vote, we have to vote separate.
You don't have an issue with it? I will say, council, I thought made a recommendation for the future to try to split up the vote. But again, there's no issue with voting for it. Council has no issue.
There's no other nominations, that's why.
I know.
I understand your point.
Okay. But there's no issue legally voting for it.
Then we're voting for both. Yea means vote. Roll call?
Mrs. Moss?
Yes.
Ms. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Capriotti?
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Reverend King?
yes.
That takes care of the board's commissions. Public comment, non-agenda items, under 3 minutes. Mr. DiBartola?
My name again, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
For the stenographer, John D. Bartola, DEBARTOLA, 1197 Bedford Street.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
I won't use it all. I want to talk about the Central Park project. I've been vocal about this before. Joe Taranto and I put on a GoFundMe. I think it was a change.org petition to ask you all to turn your decision around. I believe the city is wrong in how you're spending the money. The money is ARPA funds, and that has a wide variety of uses to benefit the public. This we all know. At the September council meeting, Councilwoman Mogg said at that meeting that it was part of a match for the RAISE grant, and Mr. Imhoff went along with it. Johnstown didn't require a match for the RAISE grant because it's a distressed community. I believe you both are in error. City council could simply make a decision to move the money from the park to other projects without affecting the RAISE grant or the Main Street project. There's a truth in those words. You have a lot of people in this community screaming about the Central Park project. They don't want the statues moved. They don't want the splash pad. They don't want the trees cut down. It's one thing to put in refurbishments to the gazebo, update the sound system, not $6 to $8 million when you have a failing police station. I read Plan B in the newspaper for Mr. Imhoff to move the police station to the conference center. How are you spending our money? City leaders are saying the park is part of a, quote, Main Street project. Well, okay, but funding is 2 separate pots. The RAISE grant over here and ARPA over there. RAISE is doing sidewalks and such, to my knowledge. If I'm wrong, Mr. Imhoff can correct me, while the city's ARPA funds are being used for the park. I believe the park is fully funded from the ARPA, that's correct. If the city chose not to do the park, it would have 0 effect on the Main Street upgrades. That is my understanding. City leaders are trying to confuse people that it's one project. In reality, it's 2 projects, completely funded separate, and one doesn't depend on the other. So I'm here tonight on the record asking you to reconsider the vote you have. Stop wasting $6 to $8 million on Central Park. There's a lot of people that agree with me on this. That $6 to $8 million can go into the neighborhoods, the police station, hiring more cops, whatever it is you deem the money should go to, other than wasting it on a park that's beautiful as it is. So I want to put that on the record and speak it out loud so you can hear me. Is my time up?
You have 24 seconds.
Happy New Year to you all. God bless.
Thank you. Before we conclude, for the record, I need to do 2 things. Announce that we had an executive session prior to the reorganization meeting this evening, dealing with personnel, and I want to congratulate city manager on his next 2 years with us, and all the appointees to all the boards and commissions.
City manager, can you explain the Main Street project in respect to the park and everything else? The clarification,
Okay, so what would you like me to explain?
what the money, how the money was told that it's a match? How is it, not technically maybe a match, or how is it told to be a match? How did that play out as far as the federal grant and what the requirements were and all that?
Yeah, I mean, you need the money to do both projects, and so there will be both raise money and ARPA money spent in Central Park to do Central Park. The raised funds do have to be more transportation related, and that includes bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. So the sidewalks throughout Central Park are eligible. The curb ramps are eligible for raised grant funding. And this is just one example I'm using, but generally speaking, anything transportation related can be used throughout the park. And if you go back to the original application, the raised grant application, you'll see all of Central Park is identified as the project area. So that means it eligible to be able to use raised funds throughout Central Park. So without the design, we're getting towards 50% design. Actually, Skate just sent us at the end of the year in the 2023, they sent us the 50% design package. We'll provide comments back to them mid-month. And then, once we get to that 100% design, later on this winter, late winter, early spring, that's when we'll start figuring out exactly, which funding sources are going to be attached to which pieces of the project.
Okay, so how did the ARPA money play into this initially? I'm just curious, it was brought up, and I want to know, how was that played into the whole project with the raise grant when it was not necessarily a match from what I understand now, it's more of a supplement, I guess?
Right, because I don't think the city could do what it wants to do with Main Street and Central Park with $8 million of just ARPA money,
If I can,
or just raise money.
if I can put one part of that, I know it was brought up at several of the meetings, the electrical and the water system are two of the major problems with that whole thing. And that's why they had to be part of it. This first example is the fellow that cleans the memorials down there. There's one water hookup in Central Park, and it's somewhere near the fountain. And they gotta run hoses all over the place, and now they're worried about, because there's some electrical buried over there, and there's some electrical on top, and that's really a big hazard over there. And the necessary about getting the park done, and the sidewalks are deplorable. Don, it's the God's truth. If you walk every block of it, I have, it all needs replaced. It's a mess. And wheelchairs can't make it. People walking with canes and walkers are gonna have problems, and we got probably 150 people in those electric chairs that run around town. It's really difficult. So I have pushed people, literally gotten out of my car, put the four-ways on, and pushed people across the bump in the sidewalks. That's how bad it is over there.
But the underground electrical work goes from Locust the whole way,
Right.
so
Right.
that all falls
It all
under,
ties in together.
and
This-
that's, okay.
Very good. Anything else? If not, meeting adjourned, but we're also going to do an executive session after the adjournment.
Quick personnel update.
On personnel.
Yeah.